Welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I am creating 5 Christmas ornaments that each cost less than $5. It is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. If you do like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up. But let's go make some ornaments. These are some pretty basic Christmas bells that you can pick up at Hobby Lobby. You can see it's $7.49 for the pack. However, the Christmas is usually 50% off at Hobby Lobby. When I bought these, they were. So you're working with 2 bells here. You could just use one, but you could also buy a bunch of them and have them for ornaments. But the finish on them is hard to translate on camera, but it's very fake gold looking. And I love the really rustic look of this style of bell. So we're going to rustic these up a bit. So I'm taking some baking soda and just some black chalk paint, and I'm just going to mix these together to make kind of a paste. I do mist a little bit of water in there to kind of help give it a little bit more liquid, so that way as you start to mix these together, they'll mix fairly well. And you just want this to be kind of a paste consistency, so when you dab your brush on your bell, you're going to create some texture. Work in some small sections as you're doing this. You can start from the top to the bottom, but you just want to make sure that you're not obviously messing up the texture with your fingers or anything. Do make sure that you get inside your bell, because if this is hanging on your tree or wherever it's hanging from, you will be able to see up into it at least half of the way. I decided to paint the entire inside of mine. So on this one, I started out by holding the bell on my fingers there and working from the top on the way down. That way I was trying to just avoid any mess. Now, if you don't have a bell or you want to try this texture, you could use any of these like plasticky type ornaments from Dollar Tree. You can use really any type of ornament that you could do this on. Now, to get the gold to come through, I'm using some antique gold rub and buff. I love this stuff. It works so good. I started with my finger trying to rub it on here, but I ultimately decided for this size of project, a brush was going to work because I didn't need it to be super thick. You can put it on as heavy or as light as you would like, but this way I could hit all of the raised areas of that texture, and I did kind of swirl the gold around to get it heavier in some areas. But you're just going to do this process all over this top surface of the bell, and then also on the inside, and also the little, I don't even know what that's called. What is the little like thing that dings the bell? I sound so uneducated, but I don't know what that's called. But you're going to do this all over your entire bell. I think these look so cute. That texture is so cute. Of course, you can't hear them ding right here, but they sound really good too. But they just look so farmhouse and vintage country. I just love that texture that this adds to them. Now, one of them I'm going to show you can jazz up just a little bit. So I'm just taking a little bit of ribbon and tying just a little teeny tiny bow. And after I get the rope put back onto the top, then we'll go ahead and kind of jazz one of them up. I was able to salvage the rope on the top of them, so if you're doing these bells, just keep that in mind as you're taking the rope off to not cut it off. It's just glued on there with some hot glue, so you can just kind of peel it off, and then you're able to reuse that again. So just taking some of my scrap picks from my Christmas stash here, I'm just taking a couple of ends. I'm trying to keep it fairly neutral, so I picked, these came from Walmart, and it's kind of a juniper with a little bit of the white berries on there. You can get them in red or in white, and I stock up on both of these because I just love them. And I'm just gluing a little piece on either side of that hanger on the bell, and then that's where I will put my little ribbon. Now, if you hang this on a tree, I will admit it gets a little lost in a tree because you've already got the pine on your tree. And so if you were to hang it somewhere else, maybe off of like a little knob of like your hutch or something like that, it would be really cute. I just wanted to kind of spark that creative interest, that give you some ideas to not just have it be a plain bell if you don't want it to be. These turn out simply beautiful. You can kind of see how you can see the bow on the one bell, but not so much the pine on there. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But these are so pretty. And imagine if you had a whole bunch of these all over your tree, or just a handful of them, or even just use this technique to use these bells somewhere else in your decor. What do you guys think of these? Today's video is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge. I host this every month, and this month our theme is Christmas ornaments, and my guest host is Karen from the Loft Home Decor. Karen is absolutely amazing. If you are not familiar with her channel, you need to get familiar with it because you will absolutely love her and her DIYs. Her DIYs are so impeccable and so beautiful. She does such a great job, and I love everything that she creates. All you have to do to watch today's playlist is click on the link that's in my description box or pinned in my comments. It will take you right over to the playlist where after my video, you will see Karen's video and all of the other creators that are participating this month. There are several of us who have all created 5 different ornaments that each cost less than $5. You're going to absolutely love everything that everyone has created. Let's get right back into the DIYs. So this technique will work with any type of plastic ornament like this. This came from Dollar Tree, but any shape that you can find. I'm just going to take a Christmas napkin that I have. I picked this up at Home Goods just because everybody always asks, and they are one of the best places to find napkins. And then I'm just going to cover this globe ornament in Mod Podge. Now I got a little ahead of myself here because I covered it in Mod Podge, but then I realized I needed to cut the napkin because the trees, when the napkins folded, they're the right way, but when you unfold it, they were all upside down, and I wanted them to be right side up. So I start working here and realize very quickly I had already separated my napkin from the second layer. However, I realized that these were very fancy napkins and there was a third layer on there. So if you get to this point and you realize, oh dang, I forgot to take my layers, separate those, it's okay. Just kind of tear it off the best you can, refreshing your Mod Podge, and then you're just going to move forward here. So I'm just refreshing that. You can even spritz a little bit of water on your ornament and use your brush to kind of, that will help make it so it's all sticky again. So now I place my napkin down starting at the top of the ornament, and then I just tear off the pieces. Since this is round, you're going to need to do this so you have everything kind of covering where it needs to cover, minimal wrinkles on there. However, I do something to kind of embrace all of the wrinkles on this, and you'll have to let me know if you like it or not. But I'm just not separating, but I'm starting at the top, working down. I'm smoothing out a little bit with my finger. You do want to go in with the Mod Podge and kind of go over the area. That's going to get all of your edges stuck down. And so then I'm just going to bring my napkin back up, overlap, and I'll just kind of pull it taut there to kind of go to the bottom. Now I'm not pushing these down on the bottom yet. I do the bottom very last, and I'll show you that in just a moment here. You can see I will then come in and just tear my napkin. I like to tear rather than cut into strips, and yes, you could start out with tearing strips and not do it this way and just have all your strips pre-done. But I don't like cutting because I like the natural edge with doing decoupage that the napkins, when you rip them or tear them, that it gives you, because it just kind of is seamless. You don't see that straight cut edge, and I really do like that. So just keep that in mind. But whether you tear this ahead of time or you do it how I am, I was just kind of, in my mind, this was quicker. Whether or not it actually was, I don't know. But I'm just going with it and just kind of having fun. There are so many different fun napkin prints that you can find out there to do this with. That you could have so much fun coming up with a bunch of different ones all over a tree. And it's a pretty inexpensive way to make a big impact. So after all of your globe ornament has been covered here and you've got all of these kind of hanging off at the bottom, you can see I'm just going to start to fold them over one at a time and tear off the excess. So I just want to make sure that the bottom is covered and then just tear anything off so it's not so bulky down at the bottom. And then between each layer, I'll go through with my brush. You can see I'll tear these off here, and I think what I do is I go back, I bend them back, and then I use my Mod Podge to just make sure that everything is being fixed down. It's all glued. Everything you can see here, I'll tear this one, put it down, and tear off the excess. And this is pretty easy. You could actually do this with if you had like a youth group or you had kids or grandkids or somebody that you wanted to try this with. This is kind of a fun project for them to do and personalize, because it looks so nice when it's done, and I just think it's a lot of fun. Now you'll go over the entire thing with Mod Podge to make sure everything is covered completely. That's going to protect your napkin from any water or anything that might get on it. So you also want to pay attention to whether you're using a gloss Mod Podge or a matte Mod Podge, because it will make a difference with how it shows up on your ornament. If you want to stop here, you can, but I'm taking a little bit of Rub and Buff and I'm going to go over the top of the ornament. You could leave it just that silver color if you want. I feel like this kind of makes it look a little more high end. But as I was putting the gold on there, I did realize that I might want to try and put some all over the napkin. And it really does have a lot of texture to it, and it helps like all of the little texture from the napkins pick up that gold. So this would be completely optional. It was kind of one of those I got to this point and I thought, well, let's give it a try and see how it turns out. And I really do love the way that it does turn out. But again, if you're using gold, Rub and Buff, or silver, or you don't do this step at all, it's totally a matter of personal preference. I have this velvet ribbon that came from Hobby Lobby. It was actually in the scrapbook section. So if you're looking for that, but you can use whatever type of hanger you want. I just thought this green velvet matched very well, gave it kind of a very classy high-end look. So I just tied that on so I'll have something to hang it from a branch on my tree. I think this turned out so beautiful. I really love it. You can still see the Christmas trees coming through on the napkin, and I think the gold just kind of gives it a little bit more of an elevated touch to it. Again, a matter of personal preference. Would you guys have left it without the gold? Would you do you like the way that it looks? I would love to know down in the comments. I love making beaded ornaments for my tree, and these are so simple and easy. It takes just a couple different sizes of beads to use. Now, I did find these gold beads at Hobby Lobby in the jewelry section. They came in kind of a pack with some different colors like shades of reds and pinks, but I'm just taking some of the gold. You could obviously paint beads whatever color match your tree. I've seen some really cute printed like plastic beads on Amazon that would be cute to mix in here. I'm just using like 4 different sizes. There's the gold beads, and then I have a very large one in the middle you can see there, and then it kind of tapers down. So it goes from small to big and then big to small. Now I'm making 3 different ornaments, but I'm going to do them on the same piece of twine. This is such a game changer. I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. When you're making these ornaments, so if you're making like 10 at a time, maybe you're going to sell them or you want a whole bunch on your tree, make them on one long thing like this that you bead, and then you just tie them off in the sections as you go, rather than having to do that between each one. I feel like it just saves a lot of time to do that. But you can have fun picking up different patterns that you do with your different beads and things, different colors to play around with. You see I'm going to cut my twine, and I'll just slide that down to the end here to separate it. I'm just going to tie off the knot at the end so the beads won't slide off of there. On the top, I'm just going to give myself plenty of twine here to work with so that way I don't run out of room or anything. And I'm just going to loop this over and then just tie it in a knot, just pull it through there. That's going to give you your hanger to hang it onto your tree, like a branch from your tree with. If your loop ends up too long, just do the knot again. It's going to shorten that enough that you should be able to hang it. But you can kind of see there, they almost just remind me of icicles or something. I don't know, just kind of a fun, whimsical thing hanging from a tree. I love it. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other 2, just tie off the top, and so that way I will have them to hang from my branches of my tree with. I think these are so fun and easy, such a great project to do, especially if you have a lot of excess wooden beads that you want to use. Now, the thing is from year to year, you can keep these and reuse them. If you want to take these and dismantle them, cut them up and have the beads for other projects, you can do that as well. I will say that I have these with the gold beads on my tree, and then I made some that have just the plain wood colored beads without the gold, and they both look stunning on my tree, and I absolutely love them. These are just some wooden square tags that I picked up at the craft store. I believe I've seen similar to this at Dollar Tree, but really I just wanted this nice square rectangle shape, and I'm going to paint one of them in white and one of them in black. And then I have these cute snowflake cutouts that came from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do the same thing with them, paint one of them in white and one of them in black. I really loved the neutral look of the black and the white with these. I'll take the black snowflake and put it onto the white background, and I'll take the white snowflake and put it onto the black background to give kind of a contrasting look. Now these are really cute ornaments, but they also make really fun tags to put on gifts if you like to do that sort of thing. I just used some of the super glue from Dollar Tree here, just some of the gel. I felt like hot glue would really kind of seep out between all that delicate area on those snowflakes. And then of course I just had some looped twine that I fed through to give me my hanging part on here to do. I'll just have a quick look at them here on my tree. They look so cute like this, but again, they would be really cute tags. Such a fun and simple project, super quick and easy. For this project, you're just going to need a frame, preferably a little bit of a smaller one because you're going to want to hang it from your tree, and then also 3 of the smaller sized craft sticks. Now I want my finish on these craft sticks to match the finish of my frame. So I took some antiquing wax. You could also take some watered down brown paint and give them a stain. And then I just dry brush some white paint onto them. So now I'm going to remove the back of my frame, and I'm not going to need to put it back in, so I can put that aside to use for another project. And I just take some needle nose pliers to remove all of these little pokey bendy things, so that way nobody's going to hurt themselves on those. So to brighten up my frame, because the paint on my craft sticks was a little bit brighter than this, I really like that brighter color, so I am just dry brushing over the frame to kind of help match it. So now we're making a window frame, so I'm going to use the craft sticks to make the cross beams for my window. So my first stick I just cut down to match the horizontal cross beam there and get that kind of centered in the middle. So now I need to make the vertical cross beam. However, the craft sticks were too short to do one, so I had to do 2. So I had to cut it down to size so that way I could glue 2 of these onto that middle cross beam. And here's what I mean. So see how that second stick will fit there as well. So you just need to make sure you have enough space to be able to glue both of them on there, and they will sit flush. So I'm just using some hot glue to glue these in as well. Now you can embellish your window any way that you would like. I'm just taking some spare little sprigs of evergreen and some eucalyptus that I have, and I'm just tying them together to make a little swag. And then I also have this cute little cardinal ornament that I've had for so long I don't even know where I got it from. And so it possibly even came from Dollar Tree. I have no idea, but I'm just going to glue that onto the bottom because I thought that was super cute. And I have seen so many on Pinterest like this, like windows. You could even make a big one out of a big frame to make a great big display with. Would be absolutely darling. And you could also put a back in here with a really beautiful wintry picture that would be cute as well. I wanted you to see the lights from my Christmas tree since I'm making an ornament out of this, so I chose to leave mine open. And I did just put a little twine bow at the top of my swag, and now I just tied off some of the twine to make my little hanging element, and I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue that on. And I just looped it around and tied a double knot into the bottom, and then just with some hot glue, and then after it dries I go in and reinforce it. And then looking at my cross beams, I decided to put a little bit of hot glue there to reinforce that also. Look at how absolutely beautiful and cute this is, and it was so easy. I absolutely love how this turned out. I just love making your own Christmas ornaments. It's so easy and fun, simple, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it really adds such a great and beautiful personal touch to your Christmas tree or your Christmas decor. Do you guys like creating your own tree ornaments? I would love to know down in the comments. Is it a tradition for you? Is it something that you've done in the past, haven't done in a while, something that you're wanting to get back into? I am excited to see all of the different answers. I want to thank Karen from the Loft Home Decor for being my guest host this month for the 5 Under 5. Remember that this is a playlist and it will be posted down in my description box as well as pinned in my comments, so it's easy for you to find. There are several creators joining in this month that each have 5 different ornaments that each cost less than $5, so you can get all of that Christmas decorating inspiration that you need. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting! If you like the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.